Hey cutie. Man, oh man, time has flown by. I cannot believe it's already the 24th of March. Also, I believe I am actually going to be posting every single day for the next 7 days straight. That is my plan. If I miss a day, just be gentle. I know I'm very, my work is very busy right now, so just bear in mind if I miss or don't hit the times exactly right. I am going to be trying to post a little extra this week for like just March makeup madness kind of thing. So yeah, just stay tuned for this week for just some additional content from me. I am here to bring you the next update for Project 24 uses. And this is a project that's really centered around my loose and liquid eyeshadows, like my cream eyeshadows, the things that I really struggle with using. You guys know, if you've been on the channel for a moment, that I am doing No Pan Left Behind and doing an eye bank where I'm earning points for eyeshadow usage and also trying to touch every single pan of eyeshadow in my collection in like completely using a palette in its entirety. So this year, I also decided to give myself the added challenge of trying to use my loose and liquid eyeshadows 24 times and just see what I can do with it. And this project is really eye-opening with how bad I am with using my loose eyeshadows. Now, my liquid eyeshadows, I've definitely become a little bit more familiar with using and wearing on the day-to-day. I really enjoy them as eye bases. I use them before I put my eyeshadows on, after I put my eye primer on, so they lock down all day. Like I do have one of my shadows, my liquid shadows that's in this project in my look today. You would never be able to tell that it's in there, but it's almost as like my initial transition color, the way that I blend it out. Let me just show you the color story. I'll have it post right over here so you guys can just see the colors that we were working on over the past month or so. Some of these items, most of these items have been in since the introduction, so for 2 months, and there's been a couple items that I decided to roll out, and I am actually going to be rolling an item out today, so you'll have to stay tuned for that. So let's just get into the updates. Starting with the item that I rolled in first. It's a liquid eye shadow. This is the About Face Matte Fluid Eye Paint. This is the shade that I actually have tucked into my look today that you really wouldn't be able to tell, but I do like to kind of draw a little line in my crease. I really just put it right here, and then I let it sit for a moment, and then I blend it into my crease and then downward into my look just to make a nice base for eyeshadow. So I have actually used this another 5 times over the course of the past month for 8 times total in this project. So we're not at that 24 use yet, but I am so close to my first like threshold, which is just 10 uses. I feel like once I get 10 uses, I can like, okay, that's no problem. We can definitely get to 24 uses then. So I'm excited to just see this hit my 10 use goal and then just continue to move on from there. The next item is not so great, and that is this loose shadow from Endsley Rain. This is the shade Tanzanite. It was, I believe, a collaboration with Shifty Shadows, and this is such an insanely beautiful color. This is like a periwinkle with a lot of purple, teal, green reflex in it. It's more of a sheer kind of wash, but when you put it on with a glitter glue or layer it on top of another shadow, and especially in like those low light kind of situations, you can really see every single shift that this shade has. This is one of the most unique eyeshadows that I have in my collection by far. It is just so insanely beautiful. But I'm not reaching for a shade like this right now. I think I'm going to roll this out so I can roll something in its place that I think that I'll get more use out of. This is not a project that is meant to be like a chore. This is meant to really just spur my usage on these items and not stick myself with items that are going to take me way too long to feel accomplished with. Moving on, we have a shade that I'm actually a little bit more successful with using. That is this guy here. This is MAC Blue Brown Pigment. I just have this little mini sample of it. This was 11.7 grams when we rolled it in at the introduction, and we are currently sitting at the same weight we were last month, which is 11.6 grams. I am seeing a weight loss though in this, which is good. This is another one where I can really incorporate this in, especially with my, I'm looking at now, it's right behind you, my Endsley Rain Flower Moon palette that's in my Project Level Up. I feel like this may be one of the shades that I can get out the earliest. I'm not going to say it's going to happen by next update. I think that this is going to be by like April. So update 4, I think I'll be able to roll this out, which will be really exciting. But next month is April. Oh my gosh. So May. I'll finish this in May, I think. Then another one of my favorite products that have been in this project is another one of the About Face matte fluid eye paints. This is the shade La Zona Rosa. This is a beautiful pink. It's a very nice matte pink, very opaque. I'd say more mid-deep for my skin tone, like a little bit stepped up from a neutral or like a more wearable shade. I have reached for La Zona Rosa only one more time, but I have reached this 10 times so far. I am just in a realm of my makeup where greens are dominating and my neutrals are dominating right now. February, I reached for this a lot, and I think it's just a matter of time before I roll into this one. April, I'll probably roll back in with this. I'm just kind of leaning into this guy as I'm in March and kind of embracing these more neutral or green looks. So last update, we actually rolled out a shade that has now rolled into my deck of panning project. So who knows? I'm a wild person, I swear. So I had decided to roll that shade out because it was competing with the shade in my Pan That palette, and I decided to roll in something that I kind of picked a couple shades and then selected from those, and I picked this very beautiful neutral shade, Flaunt, from BareMinerals. This is kind of like a satin metallic kind of shade where it's not like the most shiny metallic anymore, but it's just a nice soft wash of color all over the lid, and it does actually look very, very beautiful. It's a little more cooler toned, so I thought it would pair really well with this guy here. It's really beautiful. It goes with a lot of looks. I just have not reached for this a whole heck of a lot. I reached for this 2 times over the past month. I just need to step my usage up on this is really all. I am focusing on a couple shades in my Pan That palette that I really, really, really want to focus on in the month to try to hit pan on before that update in a few weeks. So I should be switching my focus to this fairly soon. I'm thinking by next week I can switch my focus to this, which will be very, very exciting for me. Before we roll a shade in, I do want to just talk really quickly about some successes that I have had in other areas in this project, because we're at the quarter mark for Project 24 uses, and I kind of wanted to highlight the shades that I actually have met the goal of using over 24 times within the year so far. So I have a couple like magnetic palettes in front of me that have a couple different threshold goals inside of them. So in my little baby Lost Library magnetic palette, this is like a 6-pan palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. I put a few shades that I've actually reached 50 uses for. So I have a couple like almost empty pan. I've reached for these 2 other shades 50 times. So you can see there's shades in my collection that I actually have reached for plenty of times. It's just maybe these guys that are struggling with my usage. So 4 shades 50 times, which is an incredible accomplishment in my opinion. I know there's people out there that do this all the time, but for me, this is a huge accomplishment. Then inside of this little like Amazon magnetic palette, I have the shades that I've reached for 25 or more times. Not yet at the 50 goal, but here are the ones that I've reached at least 25 times. So we've gotten to that 24 threshold on. So we have a couple empty pans in here. I have a couple pans inside of here, and then a couple shades without pan. It just goes to show like the different versatility and the different ways that the different formulas can be used and what that usage can look like inside of some of these pans. So it's very interesting. We have a lot of Colourpop in here because, as you guys know, I am currently panning my Colourpop palettes, just trying to hit pan in a bunch of shades. So I am making a lot of progress in my Colourpop shades. It's almost funny that it's like predominantly neutrals. Who'd have thought that I'd be a neutral panning queen right now? I might not be making my goals on my loose and liquid eyeshadows, but I am continuing to meet goals in my projects that I'm doing otherwise, and also goals that I'm doing outside of like my loose and liquid eyeshadows. I'm still meeting some of the goals that I'm setting out for myself this year. And now that I say that, I don't think I want, no, I do want to roll that out. So I have my Tiny Decisions spinning wheel with my Project 24 uses up. Should we just spin and see what we get? Okay, so that rolled into a different project, so we actually can't roll this in. So fun, that's like very odd that rolled in. How did that happen? I have made a great mistake. Oh my gosh, Beam is a very bright eyeshadow. I feel like I have done myself dirty by deciding to roll tanzanite out. So maybe I should give myself the option on if I want to roll this out or if I want to continue to focus on it, or if I do want to roll the shade Beam into this project. I know it seems stupid. I'm going to keep it in. I don't like this option that I've now given myself. So look at that process of elimination. We took a gamble. We tried to see what was out there, and oh my goodness, this is a safe haven for me. I would much rather use this time of year than have to reach into Beam currently. So my little butt was humbled and checked real quick. So if you are thinking of rolling things out of your project, maybe do a little trial. See if you do a randomization like this, if you like the outcome or if you're happy with where you were. Because boy, oh boy, tanzanite looks like a walk in the park compared to Beam. So we have now decided that I am going to keep that into the project along with the other items that I was working on previously. So we are not rolling anything in or anything out as I previously thought I was going to. Sorry for the little like bait and switch. I really was anticipating switching something out, but man, I cannot foresee myself using Beam in a 24 use capacity right now. Summertime maybe, March no. So that is it for the Project 24 uses. Hopefully you get a laugh out of my like bamboozlement to myself, but that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys are staying healthy, sane, and safe, and I will catch you in my next video tomorrow for March Makeup Madness. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Did you have a good run? Did you have so much fun?